Okay, good morning. Here we go. We're going to start our first board session for the 2016 year. It's Wednesday, January 6th, and we're in the Courthouse Square at 555 Court Street, Salem.
You'll
So,
learn that.
yeah, it's I'm the rookie chair this year, and we're going to start off, though, with the most important thing that we can do this morning before, and that's our Pledge of Allegiance. Join us.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
So we have public comment. Nobody signed up for public comment this morning, and we'll go right into our consent calendar.
All
Commissioner?
right, Chair Cameron, I make a motion to approve our consent calendar this morning. The first item is under Board of Commissioners, approve an order to establish the board, committee, and commission appointments for Marion County elected officials. Also under Board of Commissioners, approve an order to appoint Jim Ferreras and John Van Driel to the Marion County Public Safety Coordinating Council with terms ending dates respectively, July 31st, 2018 and July 31st, 2019. Approve a resolution to designate John Latimer as the official representative to the Courthouse Square Condominium Association and consider approval of a memorandum of action electing John Latimer and Alan Pollock as directors of the Courthouse Square Condominium Association. Business Services, approve a recommendation to adopt and establish a new classification shelter manager, class number 159. Business Services, approve a recommendation to adjust salary ranges upwards for Sergeant number 172, Lieutenant number 174, and Undersheriff number 180. In Health, approve amendment number 1, intergovernmental agreement with Mid-Valley Behavioral Care Network to add an additional $181,567 in incoming funds to provide 2 full-time positions for the 2016 calendar year. And finally, in Health, approve amendment number 1 to an intergovernmental agreement with Mid-Valley Behavioral Care Network to add $204,876 in funding and extend the agreement through June 30th, 2016 to provide acute inpatient psychiatric services.
And I'll second the motion. Any further discussion? Maybe the one about John Latimer
Yeah,
being
what was that about? Let's look.
designated some official
Think he
representative.
could get us a restaurant here in this building?
Does this mean he's actually going to be an elected official when we say aye?
I guess in some way.
Yeah, okay.
Marginally.
Appointed to a
I
position.
guess you've already elected the CAOs.
All right, so all those in
Wait, are we
favor?
considering everything? Let's talk about
Oh, do
it.
you want to pull this one off the agenda?
No.
Okay. All those in favor of approving the consent agenda as presented signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, we're done with the consent agenda. We have an action item today from Community Services. And Tamara is here with us to share us about smoking at the fairgrounds, I believe.
Good morning, Commissioners. Yes, I'm Tamara Getch, Director of Community Services, and I'm joined this morning by...
Dylan Wells, Fair Board.
And so we're here today for a second reading for the board's consideration of an ordinance that actually would revise the current smoking policy that would allow for designating smoking areas on the state fairgrounds during the Marion County Fair. We have had this last year. It went well. And the Fair Board has asked that our department bring forward this request to the board. I'm going to turn it over to Dylan to talk a little bit more about the Fair Board's perception and why they think that this is an important change to the ordinance.
Great, thank you.
We are looking to follow the state policy that they have on their fairgrounds. And also we feel with the entertainment and the demographic that we have show up to the fair, that this would encourage more attendance.
Great. And we also have some things in place already that would allow us to manage the designated smoking areas. We have in our budget this year to increase signage that will inform individuals who do smoke or vape to be in the designated smoking areas. We'll be talking with both the Fair Board, our event coordinators and their staff, as well as the community services staff, on how to handle situations, again, for the upcoming fair where somebody is participating in smoking or vaping activities outside of the designated smoking area, so that we can effectively monitor that and adhere to the policy.
Right. Any questions,
No, I do not.
clarifications?
Mr.
Okay.
Chair,
Yes.
if I might, you know how much I regard Tammy and the Fair Board. They do a great job. I think I feel it would be remiss if I didn't note that our health department, the Public Health Division, is opposed to this because they work very hard to prevent smoking in public places as part of their charge. So I thought I ought to at least say that. I know this is important for the Fair Board, but I just thought I ought to put it on the record that the Health Department is opposed to it. Thank you.
Thank you, John, and I will also note for the record that I just called our director just before we started and let him know that his testimony was welcome here, but you did a good job. I think what the point here is that with the direction that we're going is we are reducing smoking at the fairgrounds. It's going to be a little bit more difficult for somebody to find a place to go smoke, but the main thing is those that feel they need to or want to will have a place to go do that, but also those that from secondhand smoke won't have to deal with that. So I really appreciate the other important thing here is that we are standardizing the policy with the state fair, So if people go to both fairs, which they do, if they live in Salem or Marion County, that there won't be a lot of confusion. So I think that's important, similar to what we did with our county smoking policy in general. We tried to match that with what the state facilities were doing. So any other thoughts?
No.
Okay.
Chair Cameron, I make a motion that we approve the ordinance as presented.
I'll second the motion. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. So the ordinance is passed, and we're good.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Christie, yours? No.
No, because it's not by emergency procedure, right? This is second reading. We needed,
That's correct. This ordinance will take effect in 90 days because it was not done by emergency procedure. That's why if you're two readings, at least 2 weeks apart, by emergency procedure, you're reading it twice, same meeting.
okay. I mean, I can read the ordinance if everybody wants to hear it.
I don't have it in front of me.
Be happy to, I think it's not in here? There it is. No? Okay. So, on record time, our first meeting, we are done with our business, aren't we? As far as I can see. Unless somebody's hiding something from the chair just as a joke.
Read the calendar.
Okay, so we're going to read the calendar of where we're going to be the next week, 2 weeks. So today we're here, and then, our favorite lunch of the month at the Woodburn Marion County meeting at Luis Taqueria at 523 Front Street in Woodburn. Tomorrow, 7 to 8:30, the Salem Chamber Public Policy at the Salem Chamber of Commerce. Again on tomorrow, the 7th, from 3:30 to 5, Mid-Willamette Area Commission on Transportation, Governor's Transportation Vision Panel. Location is Kaiser City Hall, 930 Chemeketa Road, Northeast Kaiser. I think I'm going to be going to that while you're doing some good timber work. I hope so. And then on the 11th, which is Monday, from 10 to 3, Association of Oregon Counties Governance and Legislative Committees and Board meeting at the Local Government Center, 1201 Center Street, Northeast Salem. Then on Tuesday, 7:30 to 8:30, Staten, Marion County meeting. Breakfast at the Covered Bridge Cafe on 3rd Street in Staten. Also on Tuesday from 1 to 2, semi-annual service district meeting for the Brooks, East Salem, LaBiche, and Fargo service districts. Location will be up in the Silverton Conference Room here on the 5th floor, 555 Court Street Northeast. Also on Tuesday, the 12th, from 4 to 6, Marion County Public Safety Coordinating Council in the Commissioner's Boardroom, 5th floor here. And then on Wednesday, the 13th, from 9 to 1 o'clock, we have a board session back here. And then on Wednesday, from 1:30 to 1:45, present service awards to the IT department in the HR training room here in this building on the 4th floor. And also on the 13th, from 3 to 4:30, Insight Board of Directors meeting. Location is the Insight Boardroom, 626 High Street Northeast, Suite 305. You have anything sweet to say?
I'd like to. I'm pretty quiet, but you haven't given me a lot of controversy to respond to this morning.
You're not gonna break the record here.
We're not trying to break records. We want to earn every minute of this and make you.
What is the record?
About now.
Okay. Oh,
I do have some interesting things. This timber thing in Springfield this weekend, Thursday and Friday. Not happy with the BLM decision on how they're going to do. They've essentially given an equal status to recreation and environmental concerns as they do with timber production. These grounds were set and designed only for timber production, and not happy about it. Of course, detriment of about half the state. I think there's 18 counties involved in it. And I guess all of them in some way or another, anybody who relates BLM grounds. So it'll be an interesting meeting, and don't like the threatened lawsuits that's happened in the past. We always win, and yet it comes back to this point every time. Either the state or federal government force always thinks they can.
it's interesting how you win lawsuits, but nothing changes.
No, that's really what's happened.
Right.
Other than with the trust land monies, the state about 10 years ago actually took money and then had to put it back. But they're still trying to find ways to get.
Yeah, well, we could talk all day about forestry. Even our own State Department of Forestry should be one agency that could fund its own budget. And last session, they were in the legislature asking for general fund money.
Then the other one that I'm interested in, we have our first, I see it there, the AOC meeting, our transportation committees kind of get an idea. We're told something's going to happen on transportation, but I don't really see how. Nothing's really changed. That so-called clean fuels thing is still right there, and everybody's supposed to ignore it. So I'm anxious to see what kind of thinking people have on that too. Otherwise, business as usual.
Yes, it was a quiet week, obviously, with the New Year's and the holidays, and I'm looking forward to some good things in the new year. I mean, obviously, you just described some challenges we have in front of us, and those relate to our economic development, and not as much in Marion County as in the rest of rural Oregon. We're fortunate in the fact that we've got, a more diversified agricultural and business economy. So,
Well, the transportation ones, I know it's not the subject you're referring to, but
Right.
that certainly could affect us, talking about gas tax increase and funding increase. It should relate to more dollars coming in for our roads, and then I guess it gets back to timber, because in the past, those timber dollars went to our roads and don't have them anymore. So if we're going to try to keep up, you have to find another source. Probably about the last thing I want to do is just spend all that. I'm sorry, I'm just going to bring it up and say it right on the record. I watch the news in Portland, and all those people there do on the city councils find new ways to raise funds. That's what they think they're entire mission in life is raise taxes, raise funds. Oh, it's just a different scheme to raise dollars every time. And you note, we don't do that here. And I think that's correct. We're supposed to make do with what we have and try to make it stretch.
That's a good point, Commissioner. I was just over at Public Works. In fact, you and I were over there presenting some awards last week, I believe it was. And I was talking with Don, and he was saying they just were doing their bids for chip seal this year. They're getting out there for how much? Because of the price of oil, that we're going to be able to extend some of the miles we do in chip seal. So I think if those are people that are listening and understand that we do really good work with the money that we do have, but if we're going to maintain all the bridges and all the roads that we have for farm to market and just the rural areas, it's going to be difficult for us. It is good news that the feds got their transportation package done and extended it instead of just for a few months, for several years. So that's good news. And hopefully there'll be something that'll come out of the, it won't come out this February session out of the legislature, but maybe the next year.
Lined up.
Yeah. And I know, John, you're serving on the governor's, what do you call that? The thing we're meeting on this
Yes,
Thursday.
I'm glad you brought that up, because that's one that I would like to be at that can't be, since I'll be heading to Eugene tomorrow. And,
It's the Mid-Willamette Area Commission on Transportation, but we're going to be visited by the governor's Transportation Vision Panel, which you serve on, John. You want to share anything on the record about that?
Well, in fact, the subcommittee I'm on, the finance subcommittee is meeting Friday to pretty well finalize our recommendations to the governor on transportation finance. The other subcommittees have pretty much finished their work. The big issues, of course, are congestion on our roads and highways, and what it does to commerce, and particularly the truck traffic, being able to get truck traffic through and around, particularly Portland. The other thing is seismic upgrades of our bridges, because if we get the big one, most of the bridges will collapse, particularly on I-5, and we won't be able to get out of the Mid-Valley, or will anybody be able to get into the Mid-Valley, because all those bridges will be down. So it's a big issue, and we're trying to find ways to fund those seismic issues. But I think you're right. I don't think they'll do anything in this short session. It'll be in 17.
Yep. Okay.
anyway, I may want to talk to you afterwards and see what went on.
Yeah, I'll be there and representing you, and you've given me
Yes, just
a
so
feel for
if
my comments
if
that
it
I
doesn't
should
go
make
to
on
the
your
roads,
behalf.
it shouldn't be spent.
Right.
Thank
Okay.
Is that an easy theme?
So with that, I think we will adjourn our January 6th board session meeting. Have a good week.